so excited to be joined today by two of our catchers. They've been working with Katch for about 3 months now. And so I'm excited to welcome them to share some of their insights on using the platform. But before we jump in, my name is Laura Maristani. I'm the founder and CEO of Katch Skills. Katch is a platform that is trying to transform how we value how people learn and grow. Our platform is able to capture every learning moment and we turn it into skills. We have two interfaces, one where we work closely with organizations and learning providers for them to be able to make sure that anybody coming into their rooms and their trainings can take their skills with them with easy QR codes that they can set up. Folks just walk into the room, they learn, they scan that, and they take it with them forever. And then we have our individual user platform, which is what we're going to be talking about today. And that is a learning journal where folks are able to track everything that they're doing and turn it into skills. And so we're going to learn a little bit more today about what our users are saying about the learning journals for Katch and where we're going. So with that, I'd like to ask our guests today to introduce themselves.
Thank you so much, Laura, for this opportunity to speak a bit more about our experience using Katch Skills. My name is Jocelyn Medina. I'm from Los Angeles, California. I just graduated this May from Washington University in St. Louis, where I earned a Bachelor of Arts in Political Science and Spanish. And I'm currently in Washington, D.C. with the Congressional Hispanic Leadership Institute, also known as CHLI. And we are just actually about to finish the end of our program in less than a month, which is pretty crazy and definitely just bittersweet in general. We started our first couple of months interning on the Hill. That was definitely cut short with the government shutdown, but it was still such an amazing experience. And we're now transitioning to our corporate placement, where I am interning at a small boutique lobbying firm. And yeah, that's a bit about myself.
Amazing. Sophia, how about you?
Hello, my name is Sofia Giraldo. I would like to first thank Laura and all the Katch Skills team for this opportunity to catch our learning in this journey. I came to DC to complete my internship. I'm still an undergrad. I'm doing a political science major and a public administration minor, and I have the vision to go to law school in the future. I have had experience in the Congressional and in the corporate side. From the corporate side, I'm working with UPS. So it has been an amazing journey that I will have been able to share with Katch, and it has been an amazing platform that has given me the opportunity to summarize how this experience has contributed to my professional and also personal growth.
Amazing. Thank you for sharing that. So let's go ahead and jump right in. You've had a busy 2 to 3 months, and a lot of that, obviously, you've been using Katch since the beginning. So Jocelyn, how about we start with you, and you can tell us a little bit about your first impression with Katch and how did you start using your skills journal?
Yeah, certainly. Well, for me, I'd actually never used any platform like Katch before, so it was definitely a super awesome and unique experience for me to kind of see the way that AI has been implemented into the app. I mean, AI is sort of like the future of everything. So that's something that I've already kind of been seeing how AI has been being used in my corporate job as well as in my congressional experience. So I certainly really loved just kind of being able to play around with Katch, and I was able to introduce it a bit to my congressional office because I just wanted to talk more about how it's been able to help me, as Sophie was saying, like kind of summarize our experience and like the skills and qualities I've been able to sort of develop throughout both of my internship experiences. So yeah, that was kind of a bit about how my sort of first impressions of Katch, and I think so far it's been a really easy app to use. As mentioned, like the AI really helps just kind of generate and put into better words what I kind of write down, and then it sort of generates that into a lot more of a just concise, more comprehensible format, which I really appreciate for me when I think about how can I use this and implement this when I'm editing my resumes and other resources like that I use now that I'm entering the job search process.
Great. How about you, Sophia?
My first insight from Catch is that it is a really useful platform when it comes to understand what are you doing now and in this moment in time it's contributing to your personal and professional growth. And from my insight, I believe that Catch gives you the opportunity to capture all these skills you're not aware. So, in first place, my first impression of Catch is that it's a really helpful tool to capture all those skills you are not aware you're getting in this professional settings. In this, for example, in my case, in this congressional and corporate settings, with the assignments I had daily, I was not realizing that I was learning a lot of the skills that Catch gave me the opportunity to to get to understand. Also, another insight I have for Catch in the first moment I started using this platform, it's that it goes beyond the professional certifications. This meaning that it helps you to communicate those skills that you're working on daily, but you're not like um, certified in a certain way, like related to the college degree path. It's more like it's demonstrating how these skills are built day to day, like daily.
I love that. Sophia, since we're with you and you mentioned that, let's talk a little bit about how you engage with it. Like, what is it, right? A lot of the people listening probably have no idea what it is. And so why don't you talk a little bit about what does that experience look like when you are logging your skills? What do you do with the platform?
In my personal experience, I have integrated Catch in my routine. So, for example, at the end of each week, I do a recap of the events or assignments I contributed to at my job, and I create my log learnings, and then I can reflect on which skills I got during the week. So I'm able to see it in a platform that gives me the idea of what I learned during the week. I think Catch to for it to be effective in my personal experience, it's having a routine, integrating Catch in your routine, and be consistent.
I love it. How about you, Jocelyn?
Yeah, kind of a very similar experience as Sophie. I think for me, I always kind of, especially just with the program that being in Chile, but on top of that, also having our 9 to 5. I think there's a lot of events and a lot of stuff that is happening, so it can definitely be overwhelming, especially after a day full of events and work to kind of come back and really kind of digest everything that just happened. But as mentioned, with the AI platform or the AI integration in Catch, it kind of makes it really easy for you to maybe write a sentence or two that maybe is not as specific to maybe what you did that day. But once you kind of generate that and put that in the AI platform, like it'll kind of break it up and make it a lot more substantive, which I really appreciate. And it'll kind of mention those keywords that you really didn't think you wouldn't have been able to have captured yourself, but with kind of that help of Catch Skills, it does do a great way to give a better snapshot of what exactly you completed that day, what you learned. And it's also great just kind of, I think, reflection practice. It gives you a good idea to just, after your week, you kind of realize, oh, I actually completed all this. I actually attained all these skills. So I think it's a great sort of form of or technique to just be able to reflect on all like the work and skills that you've developed from week to week. So it's kind of amazing to sort of see that progression and development, that professional and career growth that you're able to sort of see in those learning logs, because it does a great way to, I think, eloquently, but also just like neatly kind of bring everything together. So, yeah.
And since we're with you and talking a little bit about that, how about, are there particular types of experiences that you tend to focus on capturing on Catch, like webinars or events or podcasts? Like what kinds of activities do you find helpful to track on Catch?
Yeah, for me, I would certainly say events and also day-to-day tasks that I complete at my jobs. I think it's really helpful because a lot of these tasks that I'm completing, both in my congressional and corporate placements, they're all very new experiences for me. So it's something that I obviously want to make sure that I capture, because with all these new tasks comes new skills that I'm constantly developing. I want to make sure to highlight and also acknowledge, like, oh, I was able to learn how to write a memo. Now, what does that look like? What did I learn from that? And like, what keywords can I kind of use to sort of include when I'm looking back at my resume, that maybe keywords that I didn't have there before, but Katch is able to sort of allow me to grasp a better understanding of what exactly I was learning in that moment. So I would say that I definitely focus a lot more on my day-to-day tasks, those new tasks and new skills that I'm learning, but also events as well, because we're constantly meeting new people. These events are often based on a myriad of different topics. So it's kind of great to also, and we're also just being in constantly new environments and new organizations that, the events are being hosted by. So I would say I kind of split it evenly between events and like new day-to-day tasks that I'm assigned on my job.
How about you, Sophia?
In my case, I really focus on maybe trainings, events that are related to trainings we attend, because sometimes the trainings are really focused on just one skill we're pursuing, but Catch gives me the opportunity to realize while I'm attending those trainings and events, I'm also getting some other skills that I have not realized. Um, I also log my day-to-day assignments, but I think for my case, I log more like the events we attend. We have attended with Chile, and also the networking opportunities. Since sometimes it comes more to a personal connection, you don't really realize that you're contributing to your professional growth in those settings. So I think that's really helpful also for the platform to help you realize those skills you see as normal, your daily transactions, they also can be professional.
Awesome. Has tracking your skills changed the way that you think about learning or the way that you think about your career growth?
I think in the beginning, I was so worried about tracking sort of every little single thing, every single event, every single task. But I think once I kind of started doing better at maybe prioritizing certain things that I wanted to catch or capture a bit more, like for instance, if some tasks became more repetitive, like, I would write lots of memos, or I do constituent or receive constituent calls, take constituent calls every day. Like I certainly wouldn't capture those every day, because it was kind of the same routine, and I kind of figured maybe it would generate, when I would log those learnings, it would generate or give me transcribe those very similar keywords that it would give me from the first time that I logged in. Oh, my first time that I, took a constituent call. So I would say in those instances, I definitely learned how to sort of prioritize the certain tasks that I wanted to highlight more of. And yeah, that's what I would say in my case.
From my perspective, I think it has shaped how I perceive those skills, because we tend to as I was mentioning before, we tend to normalize for example, communication skills or interpersonal communication skills. But for me, using Catch, it has made me realize how those specific skills that we do not often see, for example, in resumes, that are fundamental for your future job opportunities or for your future internships. For example, one of the skills that I have noticed I learned during this semester, it's active learning and active listening, that I wasn't aware before. And I think in that sense, it gives me of, so I go from active learning and then I understand what else did I learn in those events or trainings or day-to-day tasks. So yes, definitely it has shaped how I perceive the skills we log every day. And
Great. Sophia, since we're with you, moving a little bit into how we see Catch sort of helping you into the future and after you're done with this experience, where do you see that going? How do you see Catch helping you, whether it's in your next steps, looking for a job, in your current role, trying to get a career boost? where do you see Catch being a tool that you could leverage into the future?
Yes, I would definitely see Catch in my future since we are starting with this platform at an early stage in our career. I do see that Catch will help us to track that professional path we have had since our very beginning. As Jocelyn was mentioning, some of the daily tasks we perform at the beginning that were new for us, now we have a little bit more experience on it. So I think Catch, more than tracking your skills, it's tracking your professional growth, and it moves with you in your career.
I love it. Jocelyn, how about you?
Yeah, no, certainly. I'm currently in the process of searching for jobs, so Catch is something that is, always, I kind of always have it in my split screen. When I have my resume and job search, I have, Catch goes on the other side. And I also had the opportunity to also have my resume reviewed by Laura that was generated also by Catch. So it was also great to kind of see sort of those like keywords and see those skills that I have attained. My top two have also been like active listening as well as like time management and active learning. So kind of learning how to implement that into my resume, I think also makes it very unique. I think oftentimes resumes have a very sort of like cookie cutter template, which makes sense. And maybe those kind of change from job to job or industry to industry. But I think Catch does a very unique way to sort of capture all that and sort of combine different resume formats into one that is sort of gives a really unique snapshot of everything that you've learned. So I think that'll definitely make me a strong candidate in that sense when applying to jobs, because it's certainly not like a different form of like a resume that I've seen before, but I think it does a great way to sort of highlight all my unique skills and strong qualities that I've developed. So it's definitely a tool that I will continue to use, as I'm sure will be reviewing and applying to more jobs in the future. But yeah.
I love it. Jocelyn, since we're with you, then let's think about some of the folks that are just getting started or curious about Catch. What advice would you give them as they're getting started on the platform?
Yeah, certainly. I think for me, even if you feel like maybe a task or an event or webinar or training, maybe if it was something that you weren't as interested at first, maybe when it was an event on a topic that you're not as aware of, or maybe as interested in, I would still capture it. I will still log anything and everything, because you really don't know like what will be generated out of that once you put it into your learning logs. They'll maybe be like keywords, and I think for me I've earned lots of badges, so it's also really cool to kind of look back on that and reflect like all the different things that I have learned. So I would just say, yeah, capture everything that you've done before. As Sophie was kind of mentioning, even those interactions, those people that you speak with and you meet, that those are also very important and also very, formative in your career and professional and personal growth. Obviously, Catch is primarily sort of concentrated on more the professional and career growth, but I would also say it also does a great way to capture your personal growth as well. I've always been told that I'm a great listener, but how does that, how do I kind of how am I able to sort of reflect that in both the professional and career in those different environments? And Catch does a great way to kind of remind me of my strengths. So yeah, I would say don't just kind of think about it as a professional and career platform, but also a way to reflect on your own unique qualities as you are as an individual and as a human being.
That's beautiful. Sophia.
Okay. In my case, my advice will be to consider Catch as a personal investment, because as Josh was mentioning, this is not a professional career path platform. It's also a personal investment because you realize which skills you have, but also the ones you have to work on. So I would take this opportunity to realize how you can take this into your personal growth and take this to your professional setting. And I would also advise to be consistent, because if you want to see results, you have to commit yourself to you have to commit yourself to log those learnings and learn from them.
This is great. We're so excited that you've been able to leverage Catch in so many ways. And obviously, it's still growing and changing. Is there anything that you would want to see Catch do in the future that would be helpful to you?
Yes, definitely. I would say maybe Catch partnering with these professional platforms like LinkedIn. That will be really helpful because most of professionals have a LinkedIn profile. So having the partnership with Catch, that for example, clicking on a link in LinkedIn that takes you to your Catch profile, that will be really helpful also for employers.
I really agree with that. I think kind of not only being able to reflect on your own individual skills, but maybe kind of seeing people within your network or your organization, like what other skills have they attained? Because that can also inspire you, like, oh, I've also worked in the same industry as so-and-so. So that means I probably have very similar skills as them. So I can add that or consider that when I log my learning, or I can add that to my resume or my cover letters when I'm applying to jobs. So I think kind of being able to kind of make it more of a not just in more individual platform, but kind of grow that into like a social network, I think would be also a very valuable as well.
I love it. Amazing. Well, this is really exciting. Hopefully we get to circle back next year again and see where your path is taking you with Catch and, in general. We're very excited that you've been able to use it, and hopefully it continues to be a tool as you try to find your next, steps in your career. And so for others that have joined us today, I'd like to say Catch is actually free to individuals. So if you sign up today, you're able to experience some of that yourselves. It's very simple. All you have to do is you log in, you go to log learning, you add any experiences, as Jocelyn and Sophia have mentioned, that you've been working on. And we also have new features rolling out where organizations that are partnering with Catch are able to bring in our QR codes into their spaces. So making it even more seamless for you to capture everything that you're doing. You'll be able to just simply scan a QR code and it'll log to your profiles. Jocelyn and Sophia will be rolling that out very soon in one of the programs that they're attending. So we're, again, super excited and thankful to have Jocelyn and Sophia join us today. And we wish them the best in the next steps as they finish their fellowships on Capitol Hill and into the future. Thank you.